This is Quincy Anderson. You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil too. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. Hey, Guyana is nice, Guyana is fun, Guyana is clean, Guyana is green, Guyana got oil, Guyana got gold, Guyana got young and Guyana got old. I ain't talking no more. Guyana got things, we growing wings and developing things. The government real and that's a big deal. I'm singing from my heart, Guyana. I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil too. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I call home. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home. The only place I... This is...
We are a peaceful people, struggling we struggle, and we no look for trouble, just ask around. But when outside faces, from foreign places, talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. No, we ain't giving up no mountain, and we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river, that belong to we, not the one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. This land is our land now. We're gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow, but never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we are moving from here, make no mistake. No, we ain't giving up no mountain, and we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river, that belong to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one chorus, not a blade of grass. We love the open country of the Rupanuni and the Essex Cribbo, daytime or night. Though we criticize it, this is our home, we love it, and we mean.
Good morning, guys. Welcome down to Livewire.
No, we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree.
I need you guys to give me a share this morning. I got Councillor Singh and I got Councillor Diarmas from the Mayor and City Council joining me this morning. We're going to have a very fruitful discussion in relation to what's happening down there at the council. Besides that, how are you guys doing this morning? On my side here on the west side, it's a little overcast. Had some rain this morning, which is very welcome with these hot days that we are having recently. This El Nino weather, or according to Glenn Lal, flaring and hot water being pumped into the ocean. That is causing the global warming that we're currently experiencing, right? So guys, again, please share the live. Councillor Dan Singh, I have Councillor Alfonso Diarmas here with us, fresh from a statutory. Fresh from a statutory. So let me just tell y'all something. I called Councillor Diarmas last evening around 6 something. I was hearing in his background, the background audio, sound like he was still at council. So I'm like, what he still doing that this hour? You understand? We ain't seeing anything happening in the city, coming directly out of City Hall. We ain't hearing about a 2024 budget. We ain't hearing about an assets register list, right? But these people got meetings going on for hours. But to what end? We're going to hear some more from these councillors this morning. I wanted to share something quickly with you guys before I bring on the councillors. Oh boy, where did it go? Right, before I bring on the councillors, I wanted to share with you some information in relation to our oil and gas sector. Now, the Minister of Natural Resources would have had a press conference recently where he shared that as of November 14, yesterday, approximately 6,000 Guyanese locals are employed in the oil and gas sector, constituting 70% of the total workforce in the industry. Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat highlighted government's commitment to expanding employment opportunities in the oil and gas sector. Efforts are on the way to build capacity and address the growing demand for skilled professionals. Minister Bharat emphasized the challenge of a limited pool of oil and gas trained professionals in the country, with most qualified individuals already employed. The government and private sector share the responsibility of building local capacity. A key initiative to address capacity building is the construction of the Guyana Technical Training College in Port Morant, Berbice. And as you would know, that is progressing smoothly. Once completed, the facility aims to provide industry-level training comparable to standards in the rest of the Caribbean. The minister stressed the importance of individuals possessing not only technical skills, but the necessary certifications. The Guyana Technical Training College is positioned to bridge the gap by offering quality training programs aligned with industry standards. The government is actively engaging with companies to provide technical scholarships to Guyanese students. CNOOC Petroleum Guyana, CNOOC Petroleum Guyana Limited, CPGL, is cited as an example, currently sponsoring 4 Guyanese students studying petroleum sciences in China, with a commitment to sending 6 more over the next 2 years. The example of Guyanese students studying petroleum engineering in China reflects a broader commitment to global collaboration in capacity building. This international exposure contributes to the development of skilled professionals in Guyana's oil and gas sector. The initiative outlined by Minister Bharat includes the construction of, as I said, the Guyana Technical Training College, and partnerships for international education indicate a long-term vision for sustainable growth and development in our oil and gas industry. So I wanted to share that with you just to let you know that despite what is being said, Guyanese not benefiting from oil and gas, Guyanese businesses, Guyanese locals not being able to be engaged meaningfully in the industry. This here is nothing but propaganda. So with that said, allow me to bring on our very own Don Singh, Council Singh.
Hey, morning, Courdel. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good, good, good.
And before I let you begin, I didn't do some housekeeping. And usually when I don't do this, my viewers tend to lash out at me.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. So before you jump in here, Don, just let me run through this quickly. Leroy Mangal, Mr. Kishore, Rennie Prasad, Sherwin Siram, Prasad Pati, Prem Prasad, Data Nandalal, Chitra Sokraj, Paul Joseph, Jamila Kayum, Tracy Martindale, morning to you, morning to all those persons. Also, Tracy Martindale is out of Bartica. And that town council there has been doing a lot of work. As you know, Don, the PVPC would have won the Bartica town council after a very long time. I don't think it was ever done before, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, morning to Tracy, Earing Ward, the Prime Ministerial Rep, the RU up there, or Mayor of Mr. Anthony Murray, Jerry Holmes from Georgia, morning to you, Krista Korpasad, Ann Hill, Joe Nabijan joining us from Canada, Keith Benjamin, morning, Ajay Chatter Paul, Councillor Chatter Paul joining us from the Bartica Town Council. Who else is here? Lola Hari, Mukesh Vishnurat, Neil Ramlukan, morning to you, morning to everybody. Pam Singh, morning to you. Lash P, Cecile Rampasad, Milky Captain, morning to you, brother. Our Michael Captain in the house. Okay, Michael Captain, morning to you, brother. And for the persons in the Georgetown municipality, this is the program for you, right? So let's jump into it. Councillor Sting, morning again, my brother. And the last time we had you on the program, you were talking a bit about the financial situation at the mayor and city council in the capital city here. Now, during that conversation, you highlighted on the program that the council was in dire financial straits. Since then to now, I've heard the General Secretary speak of a budget that was presented in September of 2023.
September, that's correct.
So what has been happening since our last conversation? And before you start, just let me welcome in Councillor Diarmas as well, who is here, and he will weigh in after you, Don. Go ahead, Don.
Right. To summarize what has been happening is diddly squat, zero. Nothing has happened. And that seems to be the trend at the Mayor and City Council, that we talk a lot, but nothing ever is actioned or anything is done. As you alluded to, we were presented a 2023 budget in September. Now we've been spending, collecting, doing everything for 9 months without an approved budget, which anybody will tell you is insanity. And further to that, the 2024 budget is due today, November 15th. It's supposed to be presented today. And lo and behold, we don't even have a treasurer. The last treasurer, the acting treasurer, indicated in April that she'd be leaving at the end of her 33 and a half years. And Human Resources did nothing to fill that gap for 6 to 8 months. So we ended up yesterday approving somebody acting for a 1 month by 1 month by 1 month situation for the next 3 months. Now, anybody will tell you that that's the most ridiculous thing you will ever find in your life. We have to present the budget. We don't know estimates. We don't have a clue what's going on, but yet spending, taxes are received. And it's a situation where we just left in the paddle boat out in the ocean, and we go there and we speak for 6 to 7 hours. 6 to 7 hours. Yesterday, it's 6 to 7 hour meeting, which I might add as a side note, we didn't have any water or we didn't have a snack for 6 or 7 hours because we had no treasurer to buy water. That is how dire the situation is at a council. It is an absolute chaos.
Wow.
I mentioned crisis yesterday, and the mayor took objection to the word crisis. So I substituted with chaos. Maybe he'll respond to that.
But what else could you describe it as other than crisis? The state that the city is currently in.
Well, I also use the word catastrophe or catastrophic. Those are those are similarly implied. But before we get into this stuff, I just want to make just a little side note. The worshipful mayor wrote a long epistle on Sunday in the Sunday's newspaper, a whole long letter about the 11 councillors should lobby the government for this and lobby the government for that. Now, it is hypocrisy because he's saying that we're all a collective of 30 councillors representing one entity, which is Georgetown. But you check on the committees. Every committee has 6 APNU people and 1 PV people. And in many committees, they are 7-0. There's no representation. So the mayor speaks out the side of his mouth when he says, well, you should do this and you should do that. And we want inclusivity and everybody's kumbaya and everybody's together. But then he does an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so the hypocrisy is large.
No,
I don't know if you remember.
You are new to this council. You've been going to meetings since you've been elected to the council. And I must mention again that Councillor Diarmas is the person who beat the mayor at the LGE elections.
Easily.
Right? Just to put that out there again. Trumps the mayor in his own community. Now, before we get into yesterday's statutory, share your thoughts on interacting with the council thus far. The plans that you have seen being made or not being made, and you as a young professional, a businessman, an educated individual, do you see this as normal for an agency or an entity to be operating in the manner in which the city council is being currently run?
Well, let me say this, Courdel. If city council were a company, it would have been wound up and liquidated decades ago. It is nuts to me how city council continues to operate in such an opaque, such a lethargic manner. I mean, you just mentioned it. I've gone on record already. I'm a new council, but I've gone on record multiple times with multiple meetings about the sloth of council in getting things done. I mean, all we do is we sit around and make plans about making plans and send this to subcommittee. And when the subcommittee thing come back 6 weeks later, it's a whole, nothing gets done. It's just a bunch of people talking around a table. If I can just say, I mean no disrespect to the other councillors, but that's what it is. That's what it has been so far since we were sworn into now. It is all talk and zero action. Zero action. It's we just plan to make plans to take to subcommittee. That's been the essence of my experience in city council.
Yeah. No, let's jump into, before we jump into the statutory, guys, there is this talk of amnesty. I let Councillor Diarmas take the lead here. What is being proposed, and why is it it seems to be we don't have consensus in relation to the councillors and this amnesty that is being proposed?
Well, let me just say this, Courdel, that the council is seeking legal advice from its attorney. So I don't want to talk too much about what's going on really, but I do want to say that as a PPP, as a representative of PPP and council, as PPP councillors, what we don't want to see is a breeding ground of corruption where deals are made where backroom deals are made and where the city does not get its fair due. Because we all know that the city is in dire economic straits, dire financial straits. So that is our main charge. That is our main charge with what's going on in council with the amnesty. Is we do not wish to see a black hole of corruption and backroom deals made with the boys. That is absolutely what that is our problem with amnesty.
Okay,
Well,
so
if you give me a
go
quick
ahead, man.
second there, Cordell, just to make sure that your viewers know that there is no mention of amnesty in 2801. The chapter that governs local government, no mention. There's zero. I mean, it's been carried on for years and years and decades under the APNU. 57 years they've been there, and I
Mm,
think they've just created these things, amnesty, this, that, to suit their own purposes and needs. 2801 says nothing of amnesty. They say at your discretion, you may reduce a taxpayers for whatever mitigating circumstances that person might present itself. But there's no mention of amnesty. Zero.
right. No, no. Given that the council is lacking funds, and I know you guys said you don't want to
You're
discuss
so very
legal
kind by
advice.
saying lacking. There's
Pardon
no
me?
funds. You're very kind. You're a very kind man. There's no funds. There's nothing. I
But
mean,
okay,
today is November 15th. Today starts the Christmas season where the city police and the join and the local police and everybody joins and we start and there's garbage collection to be had and plans to be made and drainage to be made. No funds, no plans. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
no
Well,
problem, no problem.
and to add, as Councillor Singh mentioned earlier, 2801, the part of the law that guides the operations of local government, it's quite specific that by the 15th of November of the previous year, the estimates for the budget are meant to have been presented by the treasurer to the finance committee. That is for 2024.
So
But that
what kind of
has not been done.
implications does a late budget present to the council, the sitting council right now?
You want to go, Fonzo, or you want me to go?
Take it. Go ahead, Councillor Singh.
Well, look, we're going to start the 1st of January very clearly because, as it says, we have a acting treasurer that will go month to month for the next 3 months. Now, clearly no budget will be had or done by the 1st of January where we start our fiscal year. So now we're going to start this cycle of spending again. We don't know how much we're estimated to get in, how much we're estimating to spend. And it will be another year of chaos. Hopefully by, say, March, somebody comes in and says, well, here's a preliminary budget. Now that has to be approved by council. It has to go to the local government commission, has to go to the minister. And all these approvals and it is the procedure. That is how budgets work, and that's fine. But we are now putting ourselves 3 to 6 months behind again because we are already 9 months behind with the last budget. I did not go to the meeting to approve the last budget because I had no clue what was going on, what was collected. If indeed 9 months later, what was estimated to be spent was actually spent. And nobody will tell you that. Nobody has a clue about it themselves. It's an ad hoc situation. Yeah, we collect $10, we might spend $8, but we insure because we shortfall. I mean, there's a whole quagmire going on in there. And permit me just 2 seconds to go back to Mr. Mentor's letter where he says we're all green and we don't know what's happening and whatever. Mr. Mentor will tell you that government should be giving them money and government should be paying their taxes and government. Now that is all, sorry, I can't use the expletive perhaps I would want to use on your program, but it's just stupidness, buddy. It's just stupidness. Past councils, in a criminal act, may I add, because I found this out from GRA, have taken out PAYE from their employees' paychecks and never paid it over to GRA. Over $600 million in PAYE was taken out and then not handed over to GRA. Now the council are coming and faced with penalties and interest. The bill is now 1.8 or 1.9 billion dollars.
Jesus.
So now we have to find ways, and he's lamenting the fact that, well, we got to find money to pay this and the government should pay this. Nobody, you and your party created mayhem. Y'all did stupidness, and now you're stuck trying to stick me with a $1.9 billion bill. It don't work, so. Sorry. Yeah. So those payments now will affect the 2024 budget because now you have to schedule payments. We did have a meeting with Mr. Station. He was very nice, and he was very. I mean, they do have a court order to seize all council vehicles, you know. a court order.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop. The GRA is in possession of a court order to seize
For
all postal vehicles.
over 2.5 months now.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean they can literally, if they're bad minded, just swoop in and says, well, everything stops. And Mr. Station knows that if all the vehicles are seized, that will cause hardships on the city, and he's bending backwards and he's trying to work with us, but we have no plan. Where are we finding 1.9 billion? I mean, in the past, what would have happened in terms of governments and owing the MNCC, and MNCC owes the thing? They just do a quiet exchange of checks. Now, Mr. Mentor wants a direct, like GPL would have to be paid by the MCC, and the government would have to pay taxes. Now you pay GPL and road use and that kind of stuff with those checks. Now he wants to direct those monies to PAYE to GRA, and then will neglect paying GPL and want government write-offs. In chapter 2801, there's no mention at all about government subventions. The government gives the MNCC $30 million a year, and that's being generous because there's no mention of it all. They're not obligated in any way, form, or fashion to give the MNCC. It's supposed to be, generate your own funds and pay your own bills. Now we just in this quagmire.
The law is clear.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Courdel. I did not mean to interrupt. But the law is quite clear. The procedure is quite clear. Once a budget has been presented, and the city and the finance committee, the city council realizes that there's going to be a shortfall in funds, then they would need to present a supplementary budget to the minister, and the minister would then consider a subvention. But in the absence of any audits of budgets that are presented almost a year late, in the absence of an asset register, how can, on what basis, with what information, exactly how much should government hand over to the black hole of unaccountability at City Hall? Based on what?
It's a domino effect.
Before y'all continue, I just want to point out here, we have the former mayor who is looking at the live right now, and she's commenting here, stating clearly that 2801 says the council must manage from the city's revenue, right? And the government does not have to give the council money. Secondly, Alfonso, you spoke about earlier that if this was a business, you would have liquidated. But how you liquidate it without the asset register? We're liquidating,
you can't even do that. Look,
you can't sell it or even own. You don't know what you own.
You don't know what you own.
You don't have a value for it.
Back in 1984, the mayor in his letter on Sunday mentioned that in 1994, James Rose, who was put by the government then to run an IMC, said that the city's asset base or revenue base is too narrow to run the city correctly. And obviously the implication there is that then from then on, government should have been given subventions over to the city. But what is lost there is that the city from 1994, you knew that you need to find alternative sources of revenue, and nothing has been done in close to more than 2 decades, 27 years. Nothing has been done to find alternative sources of revenue, to generate alternative sources of revenue. Nothing. It's just this. Well, they said that the government is trying to squeeze the city. I mean, Georgetown is the capital of Guyana, and it behooves us to find alternative sources or other sources of generating revenue. Cities all around the world do that.
Yeah.
Why can't our city do that?
Yeah.
And if I just take 1 second, Courdel, and in that period, what Councillor Alfonso is talking about, Hami the Elder was in charge for a very long time. Now, Hami the Elder now goes around and waxes lyrical about he knows this and he knows that. But when he was damn mayor, why he didn't do it? Why you don't do it when you were mayor? This. I mean, sorry if I come across a little too aggressive, but I'm just annoyed because, as Councillor Alfonso said, this is a business that be wrapped up, liquidated, and the CEO probably in jail.
Yeah, but you got to realize Hamilton Green was a waste from ever long, sir. It's not about
he's the elder.
A waste from ever long. Now, I wanted to ask you, I know Councillor Singh, you are the lone PPP councillor on the finance committee.
Correct.
Councillor Diarmas, are you on any committee?
Yes, I'm on the IT committee, which then there's a story there as well, and the legal affairs
Story?
committee.
Man,
What?
so before we get into that, now we spoke of there not being a budget for 2024. Now I'm asking you, councillors, y'all have been on the council for some time now. Is there a budget committee, or what was the process in creating a budget for City Hall? Wow.
I don't think they know.
But
Well,
you're asking me questions that we know about.
the treasurer will look at the income expenditure and then proceed from there, I suppose. I mean,
So wait. So you were representing an area council, saying you were representing an area council, the Armas. So is it not a case where the treasurer meets with councillors to see what needs to be done in these communities, what it's going to cost, and then measure that cost against the income of the council to see what could be done and what can't be done?
Well, I'll
that's
tell
the
you
old
what.
time story, buddy. That don't happen no more.
I'm new to the council, and the budget was only presented for 2023 in September, which was months after it was due. So I can't speak to that.
Mr.
But
John, constituencies have not received anything from the council through the councillors in a very long time. It's an ad hoc situation. And then, when you inquire as a councillor, well, will I get something to help the constituency? Well, we broke. We broke. So let's talk. And as Councillor Armour said, it's a talk shop, round and round the mulberry bush, and nothing happens. We will meet again in 2 weeks. And then we'll discuss what we discussed last time, and then discuss what we do in the future, and then have another meeting to discuss what we discussed to discuss in the future. And the citizens are left there with their hands on their hips looking like, you guys are useless.
Which is the most vexing. It's the most vexing thing about this whole thing is that ultimately our constituents are the ones that are suffering. While we have the ivory tower dwellers in Fabric News waxing lyrical about the hopeless situation because our vice president and our president realize what's going on and that our constituents are suffering, that we have to beg for drainage, for basic alleyways to be cleaned and cleared and drains to be cleared. And just as Councillor Don said, just to sit around and talk when nothing gets done. So they come in and they see the plight that our citizens are going through, and they try to get things done, right? And will get things done, but now they take umbrage. So now the opposition and the ivory tower dwellers in Fabric News take umbrage at that.
Today is November 15th, as I said. This is the start of the Christmas season. Now, we had a statutory yesterday, and we were waiting to hear the administration, Mr. Narayan or whoever tell us. Garbage is a huge problem. Obviously, it's a huge problem, and we need a solution. We sat for 7 hours, did not hear anything. And I mean, you bring these things up, and okay, we'll defer. We'll take it to this committee. We'll take it to that committee. Now, when a committee meets, say they meet today, November 15th, that report will not come to council until November 15th, December 15th, or a month from now to be actioned. And you know what will happen in that month? Oh, well, that's contentious. All right, let's send it back to the committee, and then it'll come back to... And the citizens don't get help. It's an ad hoc situation where every day a constituent will call you and says, on Water Street or in Waterloo Street, I got a big pile up of garbage. Can you help? Can you help? Can you help? And then you're struggling to call the director or call somebody to help this situation out. There's no longer term plan. We should be here in 3 months. We should be here in 6 months. We should be here in 9 months. No big plan like that. And ultimately, it all comes down to we broke. We bring on the money.
So to what end? I must ask both of you. To what end do we have a city council? What's the purpose? I mean, garbage is in a state. The rainy season will be upon us soon for the Christmas period. As you guys said, there's no plan in general, much less for the Christmas period where you have more shopping, more persons disposing of refuse and that kind of thing. To what end? What we doing? What we doing? I confused. I confused really and truly.
Well, that makes three of us. No, I mean, we have exhorted every time we get upset and we said this needs to be looked at. You know, they look at me and Alfonso and they say, well, y'all new, man, y'all gonna learn the system, as if we're supposed to settle into some level of complacency, turn up
Right.
and drink water and do nothing.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
just like you're gonna learn how the thing is work here, and you're gonna fight up too much after a while. You know,
But,
that's what's
I mean, these are seasoned counselors who are encouraging young, vibrant people who want to work for the city to fall into relaxed mode and just sit back and fold their hand and collect a stipend.
there you go. I mean, we got into this because of our civic minded selves. I mean, I'll tell you very straight up on your views. I mean, the stipend is $66,000 a month. I mean, you spend that alone in gas and servicing your constituency. So you ain't making no money here. They ain't got nothing to think. This is pure civics. Maybe on their side is politics and they, you know, get to give some party faithful a little something or something, you know it is. But
Mm-mm.
on our side, we're just doing it pure civics. We want to help our communities, want to build our constituencies, want to see Guyana do well. I mean, and you're stuck with mediocrity at the very best.
Yeah.
I'm sure Council Alfonso will tell you in a very short second. We even have more chaos, and we discovered this yesterday, whereas the taxpayer system have glitches. I'll let Alfonso take.
But this thing when I first heard of it, and it's been trying to, you know, they try to brush over it as if it's not a big deal. But this, let's just say that the software that runs the financial management system at City Hall, the data in it, whether it's fault of the software or whether it's human error, is not reliable. We heard yesterday that about 15% of the data in that in our database are taxpayers' data on how much on what demand is. You know, all of those things. It can't be trusted. 15% of it can't be trusted. But what does that mean for our financial management system?
Yeah.
What does that mean for budgeting? What does that mean for accountability? If the system sometimes can report that someone has underpaid or overpaid, what does that mean for our budgeting, for accountability? And I don't want to mention that, but the potential for corruption there's no accountability, right? Now I do want to say that the IT department, the head of the IT department, brought this to our attention. If he hadn't done that, if that hadn't been done, that issue would have remained obscured and would have remained unnoticed for other decades to come. Because this goes back as far as 2008.
Wow.
15 years.
That's 15 years. 15 years, Courdel. The city has been operating with faulty data. As much as 15% of the data in our financial management system is unreliable.
So
It's
what is being
unreliable.
done to correct this? You were on the IT committee. This has been highlighted. What is the committee put forward or proffered to upgrade the system, make the system better, make it more accurate?
So it's so dire. It's so dire right now that there is no way to know exactly how many entries, how much data is corrupt. Or is unreliable. The only way to know is when a taxpayer comes to make a payment, then the system, then the glitch in that particular taxpayer's account. That's when it's made known, and that's when the department can choose to fix that to fix that glitch. I just want to say choose. They don't have to. They can continue to act on it. In fact, there's a backlog of taxpayers. There's a backlog of people who have been turned away. They've turned up to pay their taxes, and they've been turned away because the collectors there realized that the system there glitched out and didn't accept payment. Now, what does that mean for a city that has that is basically broke. That we are turning away taxpayers who come to pay, who come to make payments, who come to pay their taxes, because the system is glitching out and because the data there is unreliable and we can't accept the payments.
So I know y'all didn't want touching it, but what does that mean for the amnesty if you don't even have the correct data for persons who owe? So how could you suggest an amnesty if we don't even know who owe, what they owe, if they overpay, if they underpay? What we doing?
And there are documented cases of several businesses having overpaid throughout the years. And I want to say the years, not a quarter, not 2 quarters, not a year, over the years who have overpaid.
You see what happens here, Courdel, too. It's a ripple and domino effect that happens. Now, as explained by the IT manager guy, it's garbage in, garbage out. So when you go to pay on 111 Drury Lane, so the person then puts in 112 Drury Lane by mistake, perhaps, but it now enters into the system. And I don't know if you know the penalties and the percentages charged. So when the system shows up next year that no money is paid on 111 Drury Lane, a penalty is applied, 40% interest, 100% interest is applied. And this goes on for 2-3 years, and the taxpayer turns up in 2 years and they tell him, well, you owe 21 million. He's like, what? So now that system has to be halted. He has to take 3 to 9 to 10 years to sort his problem out. Taxes not paid, taxes not collected. As it says, 15% of the 50,000 households in the data system are affected by this. The real problem started in 2016 and for 7 years has gone unabated. Unabated. And as Councillor Alfonso says, quite nicely, the IT manager brought this our attention, the council's attention, because we'd never have known. And this just keeps going. Dominoes keep knocking themselves all over into obscurity almost.
So would it be safe to say the council needs to restart its financial records with a new system, or
you can't even do that? You can't even do that because the historical taxpayers' data is extremely important to our budgeting process. So you can't just wipe the slate and start clean. You have to find a way to fix the data that is unreliable in that system. But I'm not an IT professional, but from all intents and purposes, from what I've been hearing, the only way to do that is when a taxpayer goes to pay, then you can notice that the system is glitching out for that particular account. You can't run a query for all accounts that are incorrect, in other words.
So could I suggest, instead of an amnesty, could they suggest that taxpayers come in to have their information updated to regularize the system? A period of a month or 2 months where taxpayers come in at any point in time to just check their records to make sure they're up to date, whether they overpaid or underpaid, if they owe or whatnot.
But no, before Fonzo goes, they got 2 cashiers down at City Hall, and one is always on lunch. So I know these taxpayers going in and paying. People have time to do their do about, so they might make 15-20 minutes to sort out the tax thing. They ain't going to line up for 2-3 hours, 4 hours. They're not.
Yeah.
Y'all do what y'all want. Y'all ain't want me money? Well, that's fine. And that's where we at. I mean, as it says, 2 cashiers, 1 hour is on lunch.
That department is severely understaffed. Severely.
I mean, and to stick on that note, across the board at the Mayor City Council, we're understaffed. Everybody's an actor. I mean, it's a whole movie scene from the town clerk go down all the way is a set of acting. Everybody acting. They got John Wayne, they got Sophia Loren. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I mean, I understand that you and Council Diarmas could be at a point of frustration. You're not seeing.
You think? You think?
So what is the plan of the PPPC councillors in terms of, we see where the PNC is leading the council. No preparation for budgets, no asset register, a glitchy system to monitor taxpayers. What's the way forward, councillor?
Well, as you said, look, it's 19 APNU councillors, 11 of us. We agitate, we fight, we bring everything to what our constituents tell us every day, because we are in constant contact. We don't turn up every 3 years and ask you for your vote. We understand your vote is important, and what is pervaded in the past is that somebody turns up every 3 years and says, "Well, I'm with the PP, I'm with APNU, vote for me, just vote for me blind." um, we are all different. We've had many meetings that we need interactivity with our constituents. And I mean, even in areas that we did very badly in, or we still have activists on the ground. We are trying to make people's lives better in our own way. As you know, the VP a few weeks ago decided to do a project where we would upgrade 30 community grounds, and we're actively involved in every single area, not PPP areas, not APNU areas, the entire Georgetown 30 community grounds that are in desperate and dire stages of disrepair will be fixed, will be filled, will be debushed, filled, fenced, lit up for the benefit of those communities, all communities across the board. And these are the things we can do from our perspective and our side, because the minute, as you said, there's no, I'm from constituency 1, huge constituency, Demerara River to Vicinjan Road, North Road to the seawall. It's a huge consistency. Not a dime from Mayor and City Council that says, let's go fix this. What would you like to do? What is a project that you can work on to make your constituents' lives better? There's no such thing. Right. President Ali, at our behest, we asked for some intervention, and he came out and he walked.
I'm going to ask you about that. The president was recently in Kingston. Tell us a little bit about
Albertown, Queenstown.
Yeah,
we walked about, and he was appalled. I mean, and he just says, "Look, there's nothing we can do here. We have to step in to make these citizens' lives better, because every alleyway, the interconnecting alleyways, are in an atrocious state. Not only silt up to your neck, bushes up to the high heavens." And President Ali, quite kindly, because he doesn't have to, stepped in and says, "All right, we will get this fixed to make these lives better." And you know, just in a related note, Mr. Mentor mentioned that in his letter. Sorry, watchful Mayor Mentor mentioned that the government is overstepping their bounds. And well, buddy, if you ain't doing it, you want the people to drown in garbage whilst you fiddle. I mean, while Georgetown overcome with trash. So I don't understand. You know, it's the obstinate way they go about things. Well, don't intervene, don't help, and well, we can't help either. But you don't help either. Right. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's give us the money. Give us dump taxpayers' funds into the black hole of unaccountability. Dump it there, and then we'll figure out a way to keep the city clean and to maintain our obligations to our constituents. We can't function like that. You know, it's quite frustrating to see our constituencies need help with garbage pickup, with clearing of drains, with drainage issues, simple basic things, and it can't get done. It can't get done every day. I don't like talking a lot. I like seeing things getting done, and I've gone on record multiple times with council about this. But still, when I go out and I interact with my constituents, it's the same cry for help over and over and over and over again. Rainy season coming, buddy. When you're the silt in the drains.
Yeah.
I do want to say that the sum of $80,000 was proposed per constituency for this. The grand sum of $80,000, $1.5 million for the entire city was proposed.
What?
Yeah.
We're going to do buy a cheap fridge?
Yeah.
80,000 US? Man, Alfonso, don't do me like that, man. You can't 80,000 to do what? You can't even paint a proper pedestrian crossing with that.
But hey, look, so there was this marketing committee meeting. Well, I'm not in marketing committee, but I turned up at all these meetings just to see what's going on. They can't throw me out because I'm a councillor. Right. So the solid waste director proposed $10 million for the 15 constituencies. which is all fine and good, and hiring bobcats and whatever. So I inquired of the treasurer then, the acting treasurer then, who has now gone to leave, that if we have 1/10 of that money. She says we're broke. I said, so we're going to go further into debt. She's like, yep,
But
we can't afford it.
Stop. You have Stabrook Market. You got Border Market. You got East Penitence Market. They got the market. They're just outside of the after the police station there, man. Or the Sunday market, man.
The penitence.
The Penitence, and then I think they got one in East Rumvelt or something like that. A small.
I think a smaller one, yes.
Every month revenue is not being collected from the vendors in these areas.
But they don't even let me go into revenue. So the other night we went out, me and 3 other PC councillors, along with the town clerk, along with the city engineer, to find out what's going on out there in the nights. Now, the vendors were very candid. They says, well, maybe they'll come collect. It's $1,500 a week. They'll collect on the 1st of September, and then they'll turn up on the 2nd of October and collect the same $1,500. So now, the 3 weeks intervening, no money is collected. The inconsistency, the ad hoc fashion, they cry for money, and there's some money to be collected.
Isn't there a record of
we never seen it?
Beer vending?
No database. No database of vendors. I think former Mayor Patricia Chase Green might have attempted to do this 5 to 8 years ago, but it was never followed up on. I mean, and vendors will tell you, well, we paid $3,000 for a vendor ID card and we never got it. You'll hear stories out there. But the revenue collection is inconsistent. I mean, you collect $1,500 and in 6 weeks you turn back and collect the same $1,500. You don't intervene. So the 5 weeks or 6 weeks in between is free. Have fun. But then you said the government, oh, give me money. Oh, come on.
No, in terms of your area, Councillor Diarmas, and this is the same area that the sitting mayor was vying for. And you would think probably the fact that he lost that area, he would make an effort to get things done there. So when the next LG comes around, he could say, hey, you didn't vote for me then, but this is what got done for y'all. What has been happening in your area? And if anything has been happening, is it coming from the council or is it coming from central government?
No, look, nothing is coming from council. Absolutely nothing is coming from council. I have managed to, in certain neighborhoods, in some neighborhoods, we've managed to self-fund to keep our parks clean, for example. In other neighborhoods, NDIA was kind enough to. I did walk the entire constituency with Lionel from NDIA, and we came up with a drainage plan that has now gone to tender, and pretty soon the works will start to fix the drainage issues in that constituency. But that has nothing to do with council. If I had waited on council, nothing would be done. We would have the $80,000 apportioned, which would not fix anything. Now, I do want to say too that constituents, they don't really care about all this stuff. They just want to see things done in their communities, which puts us in a delicate situation, right? Because we were elected by them to get things done in the constituency. They don't care about the politics there, or at least the majority of them don't, right?
Councillor Alfonso, I beseech you to stop mentioning that 80,000 because Courdel gonna choke on his coffee there.
Y'all are crazy.
Y'all
crazy.
80 grand.
Yeah,
I mean,
but in this time, both of you know what money can do, that amount. For an individual, much less a constituency.
Yeah, do a block, not a block.
80,000. So,
and then they will beseech us. Well, with this 80 grand, you could talk to the ministry and borrow a truck. You could talk to the GDF and see what you could do and see if you could borrow a tree. It's no synchronicity with anything. No synchronicity at all. No step by step plan. It's like, Well, you can get 80 grand, right? And you can go to your constituents and see what they could do. If they got two rake, if they got a fork and a hoe, borrow it out and see what we could do.
Yeah, but look at the thinking of the persons who run in this council, who got the decision-making power. That's the mindset. I mean, people paying taxes, yeah, the register right, but people paying taxes. And out of the taxes, you could find 80,000 for constituency.
From $2 billion, over
situation.
$2 billion a year is collected in taxes, and 80 grand they want to be over 2 billion.
So both of you, anyone, where the 2 billion going? Because I know for sure city council got all the staff that their wages bill is 2 billion every year. Where is this money going?
Courdel, before I answer that, I want to say that I have to take my baby to school. So
Oh, you're running away.
I'll be
Okay,
taking my
Mr.
leave now. It was a pleasure having you. It was a pleasure being on your show.
Your counselor, thank you for being here. Please continue to fight the good fight despite the pushback that you're getting from these PNC counselors. And you keep doing what you're doing, because next LG you will beat Mentor again. You will beat him again in his area. You understand?
Well, let's just focus. Thank you. Well, let's focus on getting the work, on getting the constituents' work done. I hope Doc can answer the question you just posed.
So just throw me under the bus and run. Thanks, Manzo. Thanks. Now, I wish I could answer that question. Where is this 2 billion, 2.4 billion going? Now, if you don't present a budget to tell me where it's going, I can't answer you, because it's just, there's no accountability. A budget presented 9 to 10 months into the year will have estimates, but it doesn't tell you what has been, if these estimates were hit, if we overrun, underrun. It's as I said, there's so many actors, and everybody points blame and a finger at each other. Well, if she had done a job, I could have done my job. And then the person down the line will say, well, that one didn't do the job, so I wasn't able to do my job. And there's a bunch of finger pointing, blame throwing. I mean, I just want to I want to give a shout out to the town clerk. I mean, she tries her very, very best. She really does. I mean, but she's bombarded from so many different angles, and ultimately she's made a foul guy in a lot of situations. Well, administration didn't do their job, so well, what are we to do? They just throw her under the bus. I mean, she's a very kind soul, so she wouldn't retort or answer to that.
Yeah, I remember the people putting this lady in the papers and on social media, but some corrupt transaction when the woman wasn't even the town clerk at the time. But the picture they paint is that Candace Nelson is the person who, you understand, it was ridiculous.
Whereas it was just the office that she holds that was the issue.
Right. That's it, man. Look, Counselor, thank you for being on the program this morning.
No, absolutely happy to be here.
As I told Council Diarmas, you guys continue to fight the good fight, despite what is happening at City Hall, despite your hands. I can't even call your hands being tied, because that's tied, broke hand, chain foot. Is like you can't do nothing. You cannot do anything. You understand? But keep it up, and
we keep fighting, man.
Any last words before I let you go?
No, what I mean, and I don't want to sound like doom or gloom, but right now we really don't have a plan for the Christmas season coming in terms of garbage. The central government are installing pumps and billing pump stations to pump the water out when the rains come. But because as sure as tomorrow comes, the rain will come. And then we'll have problems, and then fingers will be pointed again, and I will have to face my constituents, and I will have to tell them, well, and I don't want to point a finger and says, well, I tried. No, I want to do something. So every now and then I'll reach out to a minister and says, please help. And they always respond positively. All right, we'll do this, we'll do that. I think in a week, by this weekend, following President Ali's visit to my constituency 1, work will start to get those alleyways clean, because everything is, as designed by the Dutch, is interconnected that drains a certain area. And if one link in that area is blocked, everything else backs up. So, I mean, I'd love to tell citizens to hold the faith, and we're going to try. we are going to try. We are going to do our best. We are going to exhort every possible opportunity we can we can do or have to help the citizens. But it's an uphill task, and we're doing our very best. We maybe we, I
You know
I'm
what's
out of
coming.
words because I have so many
You know
things
what
to
to
say
say.
that is so frustrating. You go there with all this energy, with this civic mindedness, and you want to help people, and then you're met with this sloth, with this man, don't worry about it. Like, come, you're gonna learn about this. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm not for inactivity. To sit for
Mm,
six,
mm.
7 hours in a room, well, we didn't have any water or anything because no treasurer can buy water. That's a different story. But I'm a person of people even call me hyper every now and then. I like to do things. If I've signed up for a job, I want to do that job. And even whilst I was campaigning, I would tell citizens, look, I'm asking you for a job. Give me this job for 3 years. And if I don't do your work in 3 years, then fire me.
Mm.
And I'm very serious about that. I don't have to do this. I want to do this. I like to do this. I like to help people. And I like to help this country grow. And you're faced with so many barriers and obstacles in the way. I'm sorry if
Mm.
I've gone on too long. And
No,
I
that's
thank you.
okay. It's
And I
okay.
thank, you know,
I'm glad
but
that you're
I'm
making these
very,
points
very passionate about what I do.
so that the citizens of the capital city who are actually looking at this program can see the contrast between the PPPC councillors and the PNC councillors. You don't hear that kind of passion coming from them. It's always what they could get or how they could benefit. That's their main
Yeah,
focus.
yeah, yeah.
You
We want
understand?
money. We want money. Give me money so we can disappear it again.
Oh,
Yeah.
not that many. Is the last thing I want to ask you quickly, is the mayor still a signatory to vouchers?
Yes.
Nonsense. Nonsense. But Dancing, thank you for being here. And we'll have you back on the program to keep us up to date
Just
on
give me
what.
a holler anytime. I'm happy to be here, bro. And thanks for having me.
All right. Take care. So that was Dancing and Alfonso de Armas, both councillors on the mayor and city council here at City Hall, and giving us an update on what has been happening at City Hall. And the update is nothing, no movement, chaos. In some cases, there might even be high levels of corruption. But these councillors are continuing to push forward, just like the councillors at the Bartica Council, just as like the councillors at Linden Town Council, at the Madia Town Council. We're trying to move these communities forward. Anyway, guys, please, again, before I go, I must tell you guys, please support local 592 Tech Vision. You know the services they offer. Give them a call. G-Rubis for your smartphone, tablets, PC repair, unlocking, remotes, AC repair, TV repair, whatever it is. And Cloth for your medical clothing devices, male, female clothing, cosmetics, electronics, King Kong Construction as well. If you're building anything, give them a call. The number is there on the screen. Your Securitize Secure. Make sure you check them out for security services, armed, unarmed, executive close protection, fumigating, general construction services and supplies. Shepherd's Cleaning as well for their residential and commercial packages. Please check them out. I don't know if the person who inquired yesterday, if they got on to Shepherd's in relation to the cleaning, but the number is there on the screen. Give them a call as soon as possible to have your facilities properly looked after. Jacob's Jewelry is looking for a goldsmith, and also please check them out for jewelry, exquisite pieces from Jacob's Jewelry. Please check them out. They have a bunch of exquisite pieces. Now let me just show y'all this here quickly, right? This is some of the stuff that you could get at Jacob's Jewelry. Take this off the screen. Right? So if you're coming in the country, if you're a Guyanese, you just like gold, y'all check out Jacob's Jewelry for me, please. Check them out. Really, really great pieces that you can get. This is an elephant chain, earring, and ring set. And just beautiful pieces, right? Jacob's Jewelry. Check them out, check them out, check them out. Oh no, I didn't even put it on the screen. Sorry. So yes, these are some of the pieces you can get at Jacob Jewelry, right? Check them out for exquisite pieces like this. Master craftsmanship down there at Jacob's Jewelry, Pike Street. Give them a check from me, please, people. Give them a check for me, please. Doing wonderful, wonderful things. That's all the time I have for today. Please remember to share the live. And remember, it's always, always about peace, love, and one Guyana.
We have that right. No, we ain't giving up no mountain. We ain't giving up no tree. We ain't giving up no river. That belongs